And this one is a competitive game where players are racing to get their pirate ship to the legendary treasure island before any of the other players. The way this game works is that each player is going to be playing as their own asymmetrical captain, and players are all going to be starting on different ports at the beginning of the game, but then on a turn you're going to be rolling dice to determine the amount of movement points you have, and then you'll be able to spend those movement points to move along the different hexes out on the board. If you move on to an island hex, that's going to allow you to draw a loot card, which can grant you either gold or notoriety or both. But if you decide to move onto a port hex, you can actually spend the gold that you earned to either repair your ship, boost your health, or even buy stronger dice. You can also spend the notoriety here in order to hire new crew cards into your crew, which will grant you with all sorts of special effects and bonuses. There's also going to be merchant ships scattered around on the board, and players can choose to attack any of these ships when you're adjacent to them, and you'll be rolling your dice and using your crew cards in order to issue that attack. And if you're able to defeat the merchant ship, then you're going to be gaining a loot card, which, like I said, grants you with additional gold, notoriety, or both that you can be spending at a port. As I said, the goal of this game is to be the first to get to that legendary treasure island, which you can see located in the bottom right corner of the board. But in order to actually locate where that island is, your captain's first going to have to get 4 different treasure maps. There's a few different ways that you can get these maps, and you'll be getting one for every 4 merchant ships that you defeat, or every 5 islands that you visit. But players can also choose to fight the more deadly sea monsters, and these work very similar to the merchant ships, but of course are a lot stronger. And every time that you defeat one of these, that's going to be earning you a treasure map. But just like you can fight the merchant ships, you can also choose to try and defeat one of your fellow players, and if you're able to do that, you're going to be stealing one of their maps. And players can spend gold and notoriety in order to increase their strength in any of these battles, or even just try to escape. Once you do have at least 4 of these maps, you'll then have the option to sail to the treasure island. But one thing to note about this board is that there are a bunch of different spaces that when you move onto them actually deal you a certain amount of damage. And it just so happens that all the hexes around the legendary treasure island are very dangerous and also deal 15 damage just for moving into them. This means that just having those maps isn't quite enough to get you to that island, and you'll also need at least 16 health. This means that you'll have to upgrade your ship enough to be able to have that much health, but you'll also need to defend yourself while you get to that island, because any of the other players could try to attack you to lower your health, forcing you to go back to port to issue your repairs. Some really neat ideas with this one, and if you do want to learn more about it, I do have it linked in the description down below.